Today I thought I would speak about desire. The desire, when it comes from a sense of separation, it comes from a feeling of lack and needing to find something. When it comes from wholeness and fulfillment, it comes from a place of growth. It's desire are not wrong. Desire are pointing you to the next step to dissolve the fear of that imaginary ceiling. So, self-realization is the discovery that the ceiling is not real, that there is no door to cross, there is no. It's like you open the door of the mind and then you realize there's no wall, there's no ceiling. It's you're not in it, you're not contained in it. And all limitation are just belief. And it feels like the density of suffering as it is lightened because you reside in effortless being. It's like you reside above the thinking mind, so you don't plunge in it as much. And some desire to do things, to experience, still arise, and those are the next step of your growth. So from one level, there is just infinite being. So all limitation are an experience that we are experiencing in this human dimension. So from one level, we're not growing. Being is stationary. We're not growing. We're not becoming. We're not getting better at something. There's no movement. We cannot exist later. There is no movement. You cannot exist later. Can I exist later? It's blank. So later is a is an unfoldment of now. So there's no movement. And yet, in the human dimension of this person, this character, this personality, there's an exploration of what is the life and experience of being separate from oneness. But when you reside closer to oneness, the life experience is much more light. And yet it doesn't mean that there is no more density to unveil or walk through. Because if there is a desire arising and the thought is, you should not do this, when you know that thoughts are just self-imposed limitation, you are moved to move to the desire. So my experience is that desire are not wrong when they come from a sense of, I'd like to experience that. I'd like to test this territory that feels scary for me. What feels scary for me is not the same thing that feels scary for you. Although it's like there are commonality, fear of being judged, being condemned, fear of abundance, fear of being told you're wrong, fear of being seen. So there are common fear. But as you dissolve more and more, the densest layer of just the fear of being seen, then that's dissolved. Then there's the fear of being judged and the fear of being abundant, or the fear of being it's like the more you dissolve the darkest density, there is still some stuff to walk through. It's so desire are the stepping stone to your next level of freedom. It's as if it feels like you veil yourself with all of this weight, and then you start to unveil and take this off and take this off and take this off, only for the pleasure of returning to the expanded state. So it's both at the same time, not moving, not becoming, and at the same time, this little play of expansion continue. It's about how bad do you want it? How bad do you want it? Do you want it bad enough to walk and integrate as you go? Integration is accelerated when you dare to do the thing that is scary. And you do it and you ground it. You ground the fear. You do something, it feels like, oh, I'm scared, I'm scared. You allow this to exist, and then you watch that thing that you did unfold and work. And then you trust. You trust more because you took a step and you realize again, the mind never tells the truth. And then the next step is ask, are you willing to take even a bigger step? And then there's fear, and you take that step and you ground it. So it's not about arriving, because we've never depart. It's not about arriving, it's about enjoying the unveiling. It's about enjoying the discovery of our unlimitedness. It's about enjoying walking in life in full trust of the unknown. It's all blank in front, but I walk in trust. It's about being in love with the play, in trust of your intuition, in trust you are the sovereign being of your existence. You don't need to be validated by anyone. You cannot find validation outside of yourself. There's only you and intuition, which is the link to infinite intelligence. And you get used to it. At first, it's really, really scary to take this one step outside of the comfort zone. It's like, oh, what will happen? And then it gets easier and easier and easier and easier. But there are always new expansion on the relative experience of the person. It's like you are refining the person. You are in a refinement of yourself on this plane, which is an aspect of yourself, an aspect of the self. It's a refinement of your own vibration frequency, of your own expression. It's pure magic, pure magic. And as you trust, you look at the reflection of your life is changing with your frequencies changing. The being that enter your awareness are not the same being. New soul family, new soul friend. And there is no attachment to keep them there. There's no grasping and grabbing. There is fluidity. Someone come, someone go. No dependency on anyone to sustain your own energy. There's no leaking. There's no need for someone else to give it to me. You find it in yourself by following your intuition, your path, your true destiny, the highest timeline available for you here in this dimension. The highest timeline is unfolding when you follow intuition. It's so, so simple. But the mind is kind of a static operator. And if we are under the mind, servant to the mind, we can't hear the intuition. Or maybe we can hear it, but there's too much fear to follow it. So you start just by taking small step. You don't have to take a huge step. You take a small step and the next step will appear. So you can walk through the fear at your own pace. Let me just feel this a little bit more and do this anyway and see and then observe. And trust grows and grows and grows. The more you trust, the more you trust, the more you and at some point the momentum is happening on its own. It doesn't feel blocked. It feels seamless. Feels seamless. There's no arrival because we're here to experience a return. Hmm. There's no destination. Expansion is always more. There is no landing. Once we land, we limit. Once we land, even if the landing is I'm okay, there's a landing. There's no landing. There's always more expansion possible. As long as there is a body in consciousness. So that's it. I think I wanted to share about don't deny your desire. You can ask yourself, where are they coming from? Is the desire coming from a sense of lack? Or is the desire known to be, it's on my path. I'm following my path. It's in alignment to my path, my destiny. It feels like something I have to grow into. It's yes, it's a place of growth. It's a willing to grow. It's a willingness to, damn it, I might fall on my face, but I will try it because the process of growth is more important than any kind of outcome. That's the falling in love with the journey, falling in love with the growth. And again, it's not necessary. It's been my experience, but I don't know what I don't know. So I can only share from where I'm at. It's seeing more and more that any type of judgment is an error. The mind is too limited to come to a conclusion if something is good or bad. What is perceived out there is judged from your own conditioning. In what is perceived out there is your perception. And the reality of why someone does something because it's their path, because it's their path of growth. So when we are fully aware that any type of judgment is only a limitation and is not truth, cannot be truth, then you reside in, I gotta do what I gotta do. And you look at someone else and you know that they gotta do what they gotta do. It's a very active lens. Very active lens of spaciousness. It's not a state of trying to be unconditionally loving. There's no trying there. It just is. It's also not the belief that one has to be compassionate. Compassion is an experience appearing in what we are. Is a most expanded experience. It's more expanded than judgment, but it's still not truth. It's prior to that, prior to any concept, prior to any state. It's wider than that. Okay. If that resonate, if that bring a vibration of joy, peacefulness, bliss, expansion. If you need any support, I'm available. You can book a 20-minute free call to see if we are fit to work together. And if not, know that you are benefiting this content because other people are booking meetings. So this content is made available by those that are paying to meet. That's how it works. All is one. Bye-bye.